are now locked into the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Here is your host, Brandon Blakeney.
Speaking of failed, we've talked a lot about Hailey Van Lith. She hasn't made a decision yet, and we haven't really gotten word whether she'll be back at LSU or not. She should probably come back to redeem herself. I think, averaging over 19 points last year for Louisville, we saw her have her best season as a junior, and I think she was a lock, at least for a fringe first-round pick. And going to LSU completely killed her draft stock. And it didn't go the way I don't think anybody planned for this team. She had some very positive games. She had some very low games as well. And they was bullying her. That Iowa picked her apart in that NCAA tournament, man. Like, the defense has to. If you can't guard, you can't guard Sydney Falter. You can't guard Kate Martin. What you supposed to do when you got to go up against Kelsey Plum or Jackie Young or Sabrina Ionescu? What are you supposed to do then? You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, man. So definitely some work to be done. I think her best bet is to come back. And we saw a quote, man. Kim Mulkey really wants Hailey Van Lith to come back to LSU. Mulkey said, "I hope it's not her last game, but if it is, I'm proud to have been her coach for a year." Mulkey said she's got another year if she wants to come back. But the thing that we talk about a lot on the men's side, we talk about one and dones and how terrible that is. You go through a period, you can't have these players for long periods of time. They're selfish. They're going to take care of themselves. Look, everybody is different and everybody has to do what they're going to do. We know Van Lith spent 3 seasons at Louisville before transferring to LSU. In 2022, her best season, she led Louisville to the Final Four, and she was named Most Outstanding Player in the Wichita region. She was honorable All-American as well. And she just won a gold medal with Team USA in the 3v3 tournament. And you look at her career numbers, freshman year, 11.2 points, 5.2 rebounds, 2.1 assists. She improved the scoring every year up until this year, 14.4 sophomore year. Her best season, 19.7, 4.5 rebounds, 3.2 assists. I know she went to LSU to be better equipped to play the point guard position and run an offense in the WNBA. But, man, you look at it, and she's only up 0.4 assists from her Louisville days, man. But the scoring drops almost 8 points per game. I think she literally killed her draft stock going to LSU. We saw some ups, we saw some downs, but we also saw her lose a lot of minutes to Last Terapoa, especially towards the end of the season, man. I think at LSU, Hailey Van Lith still has a lot to prove, and they need her. They haven't done much on the recruiting trail or the transfer portal. They do have Jada Richard and Jersey Wolfenberger coming in, 2 guards. I don't expect Richard to really play much. The freshman coming in, trying to crack this rotation, especially when they still got Valise as well. Like, there's going to be some mouths to feed before they even think about the freshman. Wolfenberger, more so a wing player, can play the forward too. So, I don't know. Last Terapoa and Hailey Van Lith could very well be in the backcourt starting together next year with Flage or Michaela Williams, maybe. I don't know what kind of look they go, real small ball like, or maybe they have Poa coming off the bench, or maybe they have Hailey Van Lith coming off the bench and going back to what she does best. But at 5'7", you got to be able to run a team in the WNBA. There's not really any 5'7" shooting guards in the WNBA out there getting their stuff off without being able to run a team. So I think that'll be the next step, but she's got to come back, right? Well, what do y'all think? I think she has to come back. I mean, she's still got a lot to prove, and it doesn't seem like they've really filled her position yet. Mulkey wants her back. She's got more to prove, man, and I think an extra year at LSU could really go a long way to boosting her draft stock. I mean, we're seeing Paige Beckers come back. She arguably would have been a top 5 pick, so it's a different situation. But Hailey Van Lith has a chance to play herself back in the first round. The draft won't be as loaded next year. So I think it will be a really opportune time for her to come back for that extra year and, flourish under that offense, learn under Kim Mulkey a little bit more, and just show that she can get back to that performance, that level of playing that we saw her have her junior year at Louisville. Maybe she should have stayed, man. I don't know. She probably wouldn't have the ball in her hand as much as she would like. So, maybe the best opportunity was for her as a point guard to develop to go to LSU. It just didn't quite work out the way that we were all expecting, man. So I know Angel Reese is leaving. I think Hailey Van Lith, she still has a decision to make. I think it would be wise for her future to come back to LSU. But she may end up going pro. Maybe she goes overseas and plays and then makes a comeback to the WNBA in a couple years after she develops. We've seen her play against pros. She's aggressive enough. She can hold her own. We saw her in that 3v3, with her game wide open, her being able to operate in the pick and roll and hit that mid-range jumper and be aggressive. We want to see her shoot a little better from the three than she did this year. But man, it wasn't a failure. I won't say that, but it just wasn't what we thought when we heard that she was transferring last year. I think we can all agree on that. There's some things that she still has to figure out, and that's okay. Having that extra year will give her the prime opportunity to do that. Like we said, Coach Kim Mulkey wants her back. LSU absolutely needs her. They need as many bodies as they can get. I don't know if Del Rosario is the answer to replace Angel Reese. They need her to make a major leap into her sophomore year to even be considered for this role. They do get Samaya Smith back, so that will be a huge boost for them in the front court. A double-digit scorer that missed majority of this year with an injury, so that'll be big. She's part of that national championship team, but LSU got some rebuilding to do. We've seen them linked to Georgia Moore, to Leah Scott, some other players in the transfer portal. So it'll be interesting to see. I think, with Hailey Van Lith's decision looming, that will determine how they attack the portal as well, the needs that they need to address immediately. But they need to get more size. They need to get more depth. They've got to find somebody that can play next to Anissa Morrow, who will arguably be the number one low post option for this team. You bring back Flau'jae Johnson, you bring back Michaela Williams, who led them in that Elite Eight matchup, so that's what you want to see. Flau'jae is definitely ready with Anissa Morrow to be one of the best 1-2 punches we see in the NCAA next season. We know that this team has the heart of a champion. They have that championship DNA. We've seen them get it done. There will still be members from that team with Smith, Last Terapoa, that were on that national championship team, Flau'jae Johnson. So leading into that next era of LSU basketball, we know Kim Mulkey is going to hit that portal hard because they missed out on so many top high school players coming in this year. So it'll be interesting to see. I think Hailey Van Lith definitely has a big decision to make, and her decision could impact LSU tremendously in what they want to do next season. But she needs to come back, work on that defense, especially, man, because she was the weakest link on that defensive side, and it was one of the biggest factors in her losing minutes because sometimes she just was not playable in close games down the stretch. The shot wasn't falling, and she couldn't guard this chair that I'm sitting in. So that definitely has to improve. She cannot continue to get picked on the way that she has been, especially by guards that have no shot at seeing the WNBA where she's trying to get to. But y'all let me know how y'all feel in the comments, man, on the improvements and how she can fit in better and adjust better into this system next year. Y'all holler at your boy. Let me know how y'all feel in the comments. That's a wrap for us. For all the latest and the greatest, I am Brandon Blakeney, a.k.a. Brandon Lee TV. Until next time, hey, we out.